Hello, this is Eugenia. Today I'd like to talk about self-love. The reason it's so important to me, and I've been observing it in other people and really contemplating what is self-love, I find that that's a pillar for happiness, it's a pillar for experiencing life in its fullest, and it's a pillar for and foundation for really experiencing connection with life and being present. So self-love, I have a couple of clients who I've been observing and friends who I feel have captured this feeling of self-love, because it's not something that comes from the mind. It's just a state of being. And so if I were to think about what I've observed in people, and especially women around me, I find that it's the state of connectedness to yourself. It's being able to listen to your desires and living and being present every day and every moment, and experiencing life from a place of joy. Experiencing life from a place of, what do I want to do? From a place of your desires, from a place of your passions, and being tuned into who you are. And also having very strong boundaries around yourself and other people, without feeling any guilt, without really forcing those boundaries on others, but really being natural with your own way of self-expression and how you are with other people. It's not trying hard to be someone that people like. It's not trying hard, or not even trying at all, to please others. It's just being in the state of presence with yourself, fully being attuned to your desires, and experiencing life from a place of centeredness and joy. And from there, and also of course self-acceptance, because when you are accepting of yourself and you are accepting of all kinds of different sides of yourself, you're able to be fully present to your own experience without judging yourself harshly, without feeling sort of negative feeling when you failed, or being hard on yourself. And you're able to be present with others and accept them for who they are. And that gives you that state of relaxation and peacefulness that exudes that presence that others want to be around. And it's also the state of comfort with yourself, this very subtle feeling of being very tuned in and knowing who you are. And this knowing who you are, where does that come from? Well, it comes from a place of huge awareness. Awareness about your feelings, awareness about what you like, awareness about what you want, and awareness about really being in a moment where you want to be. I know that in life, sometimes we have to deal with people we maybe do not like or don't want to be necessarily around, or from like we can be in obligations or responsibilities that is not something that we want. But sometimes if you ask about your motivation or intention for doing something, if you ask yourself, is this self-loving of me to be engaged in this? Is it self-loving of me or for me to be doing this? And when you ask yourself that question, you really can understand your motivation for doing something. Because very often we want to play a role, we want to be a good person, we want to be a good parent, we want to be a good friend, we want to be a good child, we want to be a good relative, we want to be a good citizen. And we do things from a motivation of guilt, or from a motivation of not being judged and wanting to be liked. But is it self-loving for us to do those things? Because sometimes we do it and we resent what we're doing, and then how self-loving is it to be resenting what you're doing and pushing yourself to do something? So the more we do things from the motivation of self-love, because we want to do it and it comes from the right place for us, the more we would feel connected and flowing and accepted for ourselves and for who we are, and self-loving to ourselves. And then that state of peace and relaxation and joy is going to be there for us. And we'll also feel like life is good to us because we are good to ourselves. And then if others are putting expectations on us and wanting us to do something, we don't have to necessarily react. And we can be very compassionate of their view of us or of their expectations of us, and very calmly at times explain if we have to, or just be present to what they're experiencing, because very often we take on other people's feelings that are not ours. They might experience a resentment because we're being self-loving, but it might teach them and be a mirror to them to be the same way with themselves. So when you think of being self-loving, don't worry that it's going to be offensive to someone else. It actually might be something that will allow someone else to see that there's a different way possible, and that having self-love and self-acceptance are all those things that they can have in their life, and maybe they can learn something from you and you can help them in a way that they can understand that being self-loving is not an act of selfishness. It's actually an act of love for yourself and others around you. I wish you lots of self-love. Thank you very much for watching.